Hi there, welcome to, let's call this an end of year reading task for the summer. Now, I'm sure you're all tired because of your formatives and summatives and all of the other stuff, but why stop there? Let's take this into the summer. Let's start the summer on a literary footstep and lead that right up into September. Now, I have a suggestion for you older readers today, and I would like you to have a look at the works of Ernest Hemingway. I had a lot of fun teaching him to my older classes this year, and I think it'd be a great suggestion for summer reading. Now, as with anything, the best way to get into a writer is to hear a little bit about him, which is what I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about his background a little bit. I'm going to talk about two books in particular, and then focus on one most of all. And then let's see where it goes in the summer. If you enjoy it, perfect. Come back in September, tell me all about it. I'll be here, and I would love to hear your opinions on this writer. Now, Ernest Hemingway revolutionized the English language in the 20th century. There's no other way to put it. That is exactly what happened. Right before he came along, writing was a lot more stylistic, fancy. Writers had a lot of adjectives and stuff. When Hemingway came along, he simplified everything, so much so that most writers today, when they write simply, they're just imitating Hemingway. You could call him a revolution, in fact, in English. So he revolutionized English by writing in this particular style, which everyone copies now. A very simple, very direct, very straight to the point style. Now, I have two books here to the side of me. I'm not sure if you can see them, but here they are. I'll talk about this one first, and then I will move on to this one, which I would probably recommend more to start with. Let's start with For Whom the Bell Tolls. Now, the background to this book is you'd have to know that Ernest Hemingway was a man of action. He was always traveling around. If there was a war, he had to be the first one to go to the war, to report, to sometimes even join into the conflict, to be a soldier there, to just interview people that were participating in the war. And in the 1930s, there was a war called the Spanish Civil War. It happened right before the World War II. So it was in like 1936 to about 1939. So for those 3 years, Hemingway was already a kind of a grown man, fully grown man in his 30s, if not his 40s. And but he wanted to be where the action was, and he went to the war zone, and he was supposed to be a journalist, but in fact he ended up being a participant without anyone's knowledge. Anyway, this is the book that came out of it, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's a great book about the dangers of war and the passions and emotions of war. Let's focus on another book of his, a book he wrote before that one. This was the book that made him famous, and it's called The Sun Also Rises. The Sun Also Rises. It's about the 1920s in France, in Paris, and Spain. So he goes between Paris and Spain. He starts out in Paris, goes off to Spain. He was a youngish man. He was trying to make his name. He was not famous yet. He was trying to be a writer. He was writing his novels at that time, and he was working on them. He was working on his style. He was trying to find out who he was, and he goes to Paris with a bunch of friends. They have a couple of adventures, a couple of things that happen, and then from there, about halfway through the book, he goes to Spain, where he gets into bullfighting, which is one of the big things about this book, and a big thing about Hemingway as well. War and bullfighting. So as long as you know that, you're ready for Hemingway. Anyway, I recommend that you get into these two books. I recommend that you read this one in particular, The Sun Also Rises. It's very simple, but deep as well. It's a deep book, but simple to read. I don't think you'll have much trouble reading it. It will make you think, and it will definitely be a classic that you should know. Have fun. Let me know what you think of it in September.